The Silence and the Fury DLC brings us not only two new legendary lords in Oxyotl and Taurox, but also a free character in Thorek Ironbrow, the fabled dwarf rune lord of Karak Azul. In this video today, I'll be giving you a brief overview of Thorek's campaign, completely spoiler-free as we will only be looking at the first few turns of the campaign. The objective here is to give you an idea for how Thorek's campaign plays out so that you can decide which of the three legendary lords you'd like to play when the patch and DLC are live July 14th. I'll be outlining Thorek's new mechanics, his unique skill tree, quickly go over the new Dwarf Mechanics, which will be detailed in a video released tomorrow, and any kind of technology preferences, and lastly discuss his Mortal Empire start. If you'd like to quickly navigate to any of those subjects, I've added chapters in the timeline, and also if you've yet to pre-order The Silence and the Fury, you can do so using my Nexus Store. You get the same 10% discount while also receiving a key directly from the developer, and it's a great way to support the channel. But let's get started here on Thorek Ironbrow's campaign and whether or not it's for you. So here we are at turn 1 on the Vortex campaign for Thorek Ironbrow. And we're going to start off here by taking a look at his little scroll that gives us a summary of his abilities. So for faction effects, we have Masters of the Runes. This gives us a suitable climate of jungle, then Oath Gold from buildings plus 100%, Oath Gold cost for crafting runes minus 50%, hero recruitment rank plus 5 for runesmiths, and upkeep minus 25% for runesmith heroes. As you would imagine for a legendary lord character that is a rune lord, runesmiths are going to be the name of the game, especially with the new reworked rune magic mechanic that is present for all dwarfs. They've made rune magic into essentially its own lore of magic, and it is quite strong. In addition to that, Thorek also has his actual personal trait. The old ways are best. Armor piercing weapon damage plus 3 for the Lord's Army, plus 10 armor for the Lord's Army, and then reload time reduction plus 15% for both bolt throwers, grudge throwers, and then also quarrelers. And you're really going to see how this is going to stack up. So before we jump into his skills and everything, let's look at the other mechanic that is part of Thorek Ironbrow and is unique to him. It is the Artifact Vault. And the way the Artifact Vault essentially works is finding 2 pieces of one artifact to then reforge them and grant yourself a passive ability or a summonable unit. For example here, the keepsake of Gazul's Favored gives us a Thane, an ethereal Thane to bring into the battlefield. Take Ratton's Collar of Bestial Control, essentially creates a runic collar for a Carnosaur, which you then get a yoked Carnosaur who can help you out on the battlefield. And this progresses to some very devastating things that we're going to go into with the technology and his skills that can be stacked up to really strong effect. But how these then work is you simply need to left click on one of them, and it will show you where it is in the map. So very easy to find where these are, and once you get 2 pieces of them, all you simply need to do is press reforge. There's no cost to reforging them at all. You just need the actual constituent parts. So take for example this one, Thungi's Tongs of the Runesmith. This is the first one you'll probably unlock because you either need to conquer someone or be in a military alliance with them to get this item. So for example, these tongs will give 5 melee attack for miners and longbeards with great weapons, and then enable sundering attacks for miners and longbeards with great weapons. Also shared cooldown minus 15% for all rune magic. So you can see that these are very strong, and they are going to change the dynamic of your campaign very, very huge. Like, it's just in a huge way. They will completely swing things in one direction or another. So like I said, for example, you can see that for this first location, Mine of the Bearded Skull, this gives us the right half of tongs versus this is the left half. And then as you scroll out and look, you can see the other ones across the map. There's one right here for the Dwarfen neck yoke, here for the Hero's Pendant. So that is essentially your focal point, is that Artifact Vault, and really trying to expand that. But with the Artifact Vault comes some of the new dwarf mechanics I'd like to get into now. So now that we've talked a little bit about the new dwarf mechanics, I want to talk about Thorek Ironbrow's actual skill tree. So it is, for the most part, with the red and the blue line, very similar to what we know. But with the yellow line, we get his unique portion, which is going to be Fiery Temper. It's going to allow him to cause fear and cooldown reduction of Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And we're going to go into how that's going to be very strong. Exacting Standards, which is going to give him the passive ability Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard, which gives melee attack and leadership and an aura around him. Hero action success chance, shared cooldown reduction for all rune magic, which is strong. Ornery Overseer, Oath Gold from buildings plus 200%, plus the 100% he already gets. That's 300%. And if you put a rune smith in his army, you can also have an additional 100%. You can make it so that you just are producing so much Oath Gold. Construction cost reduction and time. Runic Talismans gives you the Master Rune of Spite, which is going to cause damage in a Mortis engine effect as long as you're in melee, as well as the Master Rune of Grungy, which is going to give you 20% missile resistance. Also proven tools here, which is huge. So this is going to stack with his actual trait, the old ways of the best, which helps out with reload time reduction of 15% for bolt throwers, grudge throwers, and quarrelers. So you stack these two things together. So now all of your grudge throwers have the ability to have anti-large projectiles that home in on targets. All of your quarrelers now get 15% or 50% AP missile damage bonus, and then Rune of Burning applies projectiles exploding and reduced leadership for bolt thrower units. So you can see that this is really going to be a ranged army. You're going to have a very strong range focus with a good front line. In addition, runic production lines here is going to give you passive ability Frenzy and a charge bonus for the whole army. It's disgusting. So even the guys that are holding the line for you while your backline fires like crazy are going to be able to do a ton of damage. It's really nice. I'll get immune to psychology and everything like that. And with the dwarven leadership too, it's beautiful. In addition, he has his two items, Claude Brakok, and this is going to give you a bombardment ability and frenzy immediately, and sundering attacks, which is beautiful. Also, Thorek's rune armor, which is going to give you armor, magic resistance, fire resistance, and a bonus 15 armor and 10% flame resistance in a 40-meter radius around you. His glorious Anvil of Doom, which then can be kind of upgraded here with Veteran Anvil Guard, giving you increase to your defense and attack. Rune Master, which is going to reduce that miscast base chance, and a shared cooldown for all rune magic, which is going to just go so well with Strike the Runes, which is a shared cooldown reduction of 10%. Like, you can see that he's really going to be spamming a lot of runes, even though that is kind of counterintuitive to the new rune magic ability. Replaces Locus of Power with Greater Locus of Power, and then also Rune of Grimnir here. And I would say if you are going down the Legendary Lord Thorek here and what skills to focus on, I would get the Rune of Wrath and Ruin and focus it down to the Master portion as fast as possible, getting that level 2 on it, because you're going to reduce its cooldown by 20%. Then once you get level 12, it's going to further reduce that to 20%, another 20%, to a total of 40% for Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin's cooldown reduction. Also, I would jump into Tactician to get your ammo and missile strength increase for your quarrelers, and Thunderer here, which would help out ammunition and missile strength for your grudge thrower. I think those two things in conjunction are great. A lot of people love to go down the blue line for Lightning Strike, but honestly, I think that really making a strong range presence is going to be so fun for Thorek, because he has the ability to just pour it on. Now, in addition to level 3 Tradition and Innovation here, and level 3 Thunderer, and proven tools, go ahead and snag this little ditty. Go jump into the artifact vault. Look at this thing. Morgrim's Gears of War. 15% range now, and missile strength, and ammunition, and reload reduction for all the things you get native bonuses for. And they're really not that far away from where you start. They're right over here.
It shall be reunited with the Dowie soon.
And then the next one is just directly north of it at the top in the Jungle of Green Mist? Yeah, Jungles of Green Mist right here. So they're quite close to you. And I will say that you're going to have a lot of fun stacking all of these skills and mechanics together to really make Thorek get big fast. And speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about how this campaign actually plays out. So with the Dwarf Mechanics, you probably saw this when I was looking at the character skills a little bit ago, but you now get new character runes that can be equipped onto any lord or any hero. And then you also get banner runes. So Rune of Burning here is a banner that can only be assigned to an artillery unit. Then this one as well can only be assigned to a non-character unit. So you cannot stack them up, which is huge. So let's take a look at your forge, and you see these two icons. One for character runes, which will create character runes in a stack of 3, or one for banner runes, which it's so strong. Some of these are amazing. This one will make it so that bonus versus large and enables projectiles to home in on targets assigned to artillery unit. Like, that's awesome. And then even the master runes at the bottom here. Here's just an example of them. This one allows you to stock snipe and gives you a missile resistance for an artillery unit. So it can get really out of control very fast. And I love some of the flavor that this brings to the table for the dwarfs. And that is not all. The character and banner runes is just one thing. In addition, there are new, let's see if this character has it. There are new ancestral bloodline traits for Valaya, Grungi, and Grimnir. Valaya here grants ward save and enemy hero action success chance. Let's see if we got one of them popped into here. That's Valaya again. That's Grimnir here for melee defense, melee attack, and physical resistance. So you do, and Grungi is a third one. And I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it's missile resistance and something else that it grants you a bonus towards. So you get these new traits added in, the ancestral traits. Now, rune magic is also new. We're going to look at the rune smith here, and you can see that the runes now, rather than being, activatable bound abilities that have charges, are now their own type of lore. And again, we'll expand on this in the video tomorrow where I really show it off in the actual combat screen and everything, but you're going to be using these runes of speed, oath and steel, wrath and ruin, which is now an actual targetable AoE damage spell, rune of slowness, rune of breaking, rune of negation, and then you get your rune of hearth and home, which is just a passive ability. So it's an entirely different new mechanic on that. In addition to that, there's new post-battle options, which will give you the option to increase your oath gold, or options to increase your growth, and other mechanics. In addition, the grudges have entirely changed. Take a look at the bar up here. So you now have different severity for your grudges, from 0 to 19, which is going to increase your research rate in your public order. And on turn start, low chance that slayers will be added to the Regiments of Renown pool. So take a look at this. If we click this character, go to Regiments of Renown, you can see that slayers are now here. And they can accrue here based off of your grudge severity level. And as we go up, you can see that it will drop our public order and our research rate, as well as our diplomatic relations with dwarfs. 10, 10, and 2. And then on start has a moderate chance. Now it's going to give us penalties, but give us charge bonuses. And has a high chance that slayers will be added to the Regiment Renown pool. And then lastly, enraged. So you can see how this now scales. And it's all part of Thorek's campaign, but it's part of all of the dwarfs' campaigns. And the last thing I want to go into as far as a unique new dwarf quote-unquote mechanic is that if I look at hammerers and ironbreakers, there's no longer a requirement for these units. You can just simply make them once you make the building. The only unit that has a requirement attached to it now, you can see I'm just looking at the Longbeards and everything just to kind of prove my point, is Bugman's Rangers. This unit requires a secondary building, the Drinking Hall. So you no longer have to make the Armory to make your more advanced units. You just, I guess there's kind of a double-edged sword there, right? You do have to make this to make these two, but still, you're not blocked by having to have that Armory created in order to make certain top-tier dwarf units. Very nice, very strong addition to the dwarf mechanics. So taking a look at the map overall, you can see where Thorek starts right here in the spine of Sotek. And you're going to get a lot of quests right out the gate that, move that thing away, right out the gate that really stack up quick. Your Book of Grudges is geared towards finding all of these artifact vault items. And you will receive a quest on turn 2 that says, simply get in 2 Skaven fights and you'll be able to confederate these dwarfs over here. And by the time that you get to that point, they will have taken this location and you will have 4 total provinces, or I'm sorry, settlements, 2 total provinces by turn 4 or 5. You expand so quick, and that will rapid fire complete 4 or 5 quests for you. So I will say that Thorek Ironbrow is going to be a character where you will feel very overpowered in the early game. And you're going to have a lot of things at your disposal. You'll have a ton of Oath Gold, so you'll be able to go through a ton of items here in the Forge, especially character and banner runes. Not to mention, of course, weapons, armor, and talismans. But the very first item, the armor here for you, let me take a look over. Click on this guy, go to here, go to there. The very first item here is the Thorek's rune armor. It completes almost naturally by turn 4 or 5, and you'll have that immediately. So you'll already have unique quest armor, and the unique quest weapon you'll get almost just as quick. So Thorek has a very quick power ramp where you will control the central portion of Lustria very fast. And if you follow this kind of north over into this portion, as you take these 2 items to get those continued benefits to Thorek's ranged equipment, you will really find yourself in such a commanding position, because you'll have split the continent almost in 2 here, as far as like just down the middle. And you'll have a lot of natural allies in the Lizardmen, because you'll be killing so many Skaven, and the Dark Elves will be kind of like just a middling little pittance to you. And it'll allow you to really kind of choose how you want to play your campaign. Do you want to really progress north here to go fight Taurox or something like that? Do you want to push east and smash out the Vampire Coast? What I really like about Thorek's campaign is that you are kind of the underdog, right? You kind of start amongst a lot of pretty strong legendary lords. You've got 3 right over here. You've got another one right over here. So, and then you've got another handful of them right over here, right? So you do kind of have a lot of opposition around you, but because you can get so strong so quick, you can directly punch into that opposition without worrying about being outnumbered. In my campaign, I'm at war with 3 or 4 Skaven factions, and I don't even care, because of the benefits that you get from the artifact vault. And if you're pushing towards some of these, at least the passive bonus ones, it allows even non-Thorek characters that are leading armies to be just disgustingly strong. In addition, these banner runes, they produce in stacks of 3. And once you produce them, you've produced them for quote-unquote life. So it allows you, again, to kind of keep a strong hold on that power as you push through the campaign. So if you want to play a dwarf campaign where you are expanding through Lustria very quickly until you hit another superpower, trust me, Thorek Ironbrow will be the one for you. In fact, it's the only option you have on the Vortex campaign. The last thing I want to go over here before we jump over to the Mortal Empires is the technology tree. Now, for Thorek Ironbrow, honestly, you could just do this for the first 12 turns, because if you do that, it's going to give you recruitment cost reduction for Quarrelers, ammunition for Dwarf missile infantry units, volley fire, which is going to give you a bonus to the reload time reduction for Quarrelers as well. I would also say get Masterwork crossbows. That helps you with their bonus to damage of 10% to their missile strength. And you can take this a little bit further and go to Field Engineers, which is going to help with the reload time reduction for artillery units. But honestly, like once you really do those things, you're going to find that you have such a disgusting amount of bonuses stacked onto your range units that you'll feel very overpowered when it comes to combat. Now, of course, with economy, this is going to be your top tree that you want to focus on. And I would say, where is it? The Toolmakers Guild. This is a really good thing to bum rush, because it gives you a lot of money right there. Also, going into this with improved blast charges gives you a 10% bonus to both iron mines and gold mines. And your 2 starting locations have both an iron mine and a gold mine right here. So I would say bum rush to Field Engineers if that's the kind of route you want to take, and you also have the things over here that can further increase all of that. But economically, go to Toolmakers Guild and to improve blast charges if you find yourself running into some money issues while you progress down this chain to help out with a lot of your offensive capabilities. But now let's take a look at the Mortal Empires campaign and see how that plays out a little bit differently from the Vortex map. So here we are on the Mortal Empires map, and you can see that we start all the way down south in Karak Zorn. And the only person that you already have established a relationship with is, of course, your liege, the leader of Karak Azul. So you've got that at least going for you right out the gate, because you are surrounded by lots and lots of opposition. Now, with this, you also have different placement of your artifacts for the artifact vault. Namely, let's look at Morgrim's Gears of War, since it's such a good stack with with Thorek's natural abilities. You can see it is much further away. Much further. Is this Nagashazar? No, it's over here in the Wolflands. Oh, yeah, Nagashazar over there. And you also get Spur Gear, which is on the other side of the World's Edge Mountains, over here in the southern Grey Mountains. So the abilities that allow you to get out of control in the Vortex campaign are a little bit harder to access in the Mortal Empires campaign. So it is definitely worth taking note of that, noting where these things are on the map, because even though they're great, you're not going to have as as high of an accessibility as you did in Vortex. In fact, you don't even start with any things close by. Like in the Vortex, your first place to conquer gives you a piece. The first one is all the way up here. So you really kind of have to slow play the Mortal Empire start for Thorek, because you don't have those artifacts to give you a steep power ramp. And I find that that's actually okay. In the Vortex campaign, it's kind of disgusting how fast you can get strong and buff. And in Mortal Empires, you have a little bit more of a natural progression. So I think really the name of the game is following this trail north and taking part of the southern World's Edge Mountains, because that's part of your actual starting settlement. Getting that and then pushing north here into the Charnel Valley will at least get you on track towards getting some other artifact pieces, because you can see there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 right from the start in this location. So that will at least give you a little bit of a power ramp, rather than going east here to only get access to 1 and then north up here. But I mean, the double-edged sword here is that everything to the east, there's tons of gold and iron, so you can really get strong in that regard as well. And now that you have access to jungle, this is a suitable climate for you. So it's nice that you can actually move this direction if you so wish in a Thorek campaign. Of course, you can't do that with the other dwarves. But that's a nice kind of quick overview of Thorek's Mortal Empires campaign to give you an idea of how this one plays out. And it is a little bit slower of a play, but it's because your Mortal Empire is not Vortex anymore. That concludes our video here on Thorek Ironbrow, giving you an idea of how his campaign plays out, as well as some kind of tips on how to get going in his campaign in both Vortex and in Mortal Empires. If you have any questions about the campaign, this is in the pre-release portion of lead up to the actual launch of the DLC. So if you have any questions about, hey, what does that ability do? Anything like that, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. I will answer as fast as I can to give you a better idea of whether or not this is going to be the campaign for you. I think that Thorek is a lot of fun, and I think that it's something that dwarfs have needed for a long time. Is a really nice refresh to a lot of their mechanics, bringing them up to speed, and I think that Creative Assembly did a very good job of incorporating runes into the dwarf gameplay finally, and they're very well done. The character and the banner runes are extremely characteristic. They're not just simply buffs. They make each character or unit or artillery piece act differently on the battlefield, and that's what I like about them so much, in a way that you could never get in tabletop, right? So very fun and exciting to play through this, especially in the Vortex campaign, where you will feel very buff and very strong. Much again, like I said with Réponse Alienés in the Vortex campaign, she gets disgustingly overpowered fast. It's the same thing here with Thorek. And you'll find with the Mortal Empires campaign, like I've said before, it's going to be a bit of a slower growth to that max strength of Vegeta level power level, but you will really enjoy either the Vortex or the Mortal Empires campaign if you are a dwarf fan. And I am not a dwarf fan, and I had a really good time. And I think it's just because I enjoyed making dwarf units more than what they were via the runes or the individual buffs from Thorek's abilities to just make them so strong and disgusting. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll answer them as fast as possible. But have a good one and take care.